What does post-graduation life look like for you?
I'll go ahead and get started. Ideally, I think I would want to use my skills as a clinician. I want to use all of them, so I don't want to specialize too soon. So ideally, I think somewhere like R2P is actually pretty good because you get to see athletes, but you also get to see a little bit of neuro, you get to see a little bit of geriatrics, you get to see a little bit of pediatrics, see a little bit of everything. That's like my ideal working environment right out of graduation, just so I feel like I'm not specializing too early and losing essential skills that we learned.
This is not an advertisement.
I didn't intend it to be.
I just want to get in like an outpatient orthopedic clinic, just start getting experience treating patients and treating a wider variety of patients, and sort of specialize at a later point, probably pursue a residency at some point, but just treat a wide variety of patients and just get experience with that.
Here's what I'll say on that topic, and it is something that I was going to get to later. Cash pay PT and hour-long sessions is something that has been talked about a ton. Personally, I think there's a lot of value to being in a clinic that has a moderate amount of volume. I'm not going to say super high volume, 20 plus patients a day, 3 or 4 an hour. I'm going to say moderate volume. I think there is a benefit to checking processes. I think there's a benefit to coming up with certain levels of efficiency and effectiveness with regards to also having variety of patient population base. So, and I say that also if you're not sure if you know what you want to do. I think the exposure in itself ideally allows you to figure it out. So, especially for some people who maybe aren't in a situation where they feel comfortable saying, this is exactly what I want, I think that's the best approach. Again, moderate volume. I'm not saying like 23, 24 patients a day. Putting yourself in a situation, again, you get that exposure, you're having to refine your processes because there is a little bit of a time crunch around what it is that you're doing. You don't just have all day. And then the residency piece we'll talk about a little bit later as well. What about you?
Kind of just talking about the residency piece. So for me, I knew that I wanted something that would set me up to spring me forward, right? Like, I have big goals. I want to own my own clinic at some point, and I do believe that your first year is such a foundational period that I wanted to make sure that I had a strong foundation. And so I'll be joining the company, doing the ortho residency at Tyson's with R2P.
I think for me personally, the first year is just getting more comfortable treating and getting comfortable with a schedule from like a 9-to-5 position or 410s, however, like how we do at R2P. But year 2 is probably going into a sports residency, trying to get a little more specialized. But that first year to me is just really understanding how I want to treat and building a caseload.
You bring up just adjusting after graduation to a 9-to-5, and we had a good conversation about burnout earlier, and I think one of the things that I did not bring up that is something that I think definitely needs mentioned is the challenge of moving from 6 or 7 years of college to regular life is a huge adjustment in itself. We have been looking at work-life balance and workplace happiness or workplace wellness over the past 5 years. And I can say that every single year, the worst numbers are in our new grads. And the best part about it is almost every single person will trend positively throughout their time with us. And I think overall there's a lot of external factors. We can talk about inflationary pressures, we can talk about things involving student loan debt, we can talk about the fact that just I'm finally on my own potentially, right? I mean, I'm on my own, I've got a job, I've got rent, I'm looking to potentially have different milestones in my life from a family or life standpoint. I'm potentially moving somewhere that maybe is away from where I grew up. There's a lot of lifing going on while we adjust to work. So I think that's something that also could potentially play into the burnout conversation as well, where we have external factors that are going on that are affecting our ability to be who we want to be at work. And sometimes it's combing through like what exactly is going on and what exactly are the pain points. And I think that's something that I've tried to be more conscious about is, again, like the check-ins with the younger clinicians, seeing if we can also support them ways outside of the workplace environment.